being here at the 2019 State of the City. I look forward to some time with Mayor Weber, but first let's do a couple procedural things. I'm going to introduce a few people who are going to help us to do these. First, I'd like to introduce Miranda and Esteban, part of the Santa Fe family. They're going to help us with the Pledge of Allegiance. And that'll be followed by an invitation by Governor Rivera from Pacific Pueblo. So welcome to you as well. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, we're going to go to the state. Come on, you guys are in charge.
State of New Mexico is a symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Good call.
Great job.
Very honored to have been called to come and do your prayer for me this evening. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's always an honor. With that, I'll go ahead and say a little prayer for everyone here, especially Mr. Weber here, that everything that he's working towards, that he succeeds. All along, into na day or two, into San Coffee, never get the time, but to why you want to get to know it from San Coffee, but you need to wake up to need to hear what you need to see in the things that come in or what you know to talk to the night. But you need to come up, talk to him, getting it from your mind to know it. But you want help to keep going to me and what you want to know it. And if you've got the name and the people and you're not going to know it, but you want to pray from you and you will how we feel, how you mind to know it. And what the people to know it, praying to know it, praying for them to know that what people do it to know it. And I tell you what is on here to know it. So in my name, thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Please, thank you all.
What I love about Santa Fe is the people. Everyone here wants to make a difference. They're so generous and they care about their neighbors and they care about their community and they want to make it a better place.
What I like most about Santa Fe is the GCC summer camp and the people here that are really nice.
Santa Fe is the best place to live, and I think that's why people live here, is because there's so much to do. You've got downtown Santa Fe, which is awesome. The mountains are 10 minutes away.
We welcome everybody. There's no color here. We don't see color. We see people. And that's how you look with people from your heart.
What I like most about Santa Fe is the surrounding areas and the multitude of things that we're able to do here.
The friendliness of all of us that do live here, people are really surprised how friendly everybody is and approachable.
We moved from New England, never expected to, but fell in love with Santa Fe and moved, and we've never looked back. It's just another world.
What I like most about Santa Fe is the diverse culture and the food.
Having the surroundings here, that is not crowded with a lot of advertising, the character of the city, the traditions that are here,
What I like most about Santa Fe is the rich history, because to know that our ancestors came one day before us leads to know, to me, that one day we'll accomplish something that they helped us make in the future.
Thank you to Joe and your team for making that happen. Terrific, quick overview of what makes our city so special. Please accept my Pete Buttigieg imitation. Not running for president, but as you all know, it's kind of one with me. I want to thank you all for coming here, and I want to thank those who are watching as we live stream this gathering. With us in the room here are representatives of the governor's office and the state legislature. The county clerk is with us, school board, members of the city council who have done so much to accomplish so many positive results for the people of Santa Fe. If you would please stand, Councilors Lindell, Villar-Koppler, Villarreal, Romero Worth, Councilor Harris, Councilor Ives, Councilor Abeyta, Councilor Rivera let me know he couldn't make it. Please give them a round of applause. This is a terrific team of problem solvers, and we're very fortunate to have such a great council. I want to bear special recognition for Councilor Ives and Councilor Harris, who, if he would be listening to me, would be the beneficiary of a compliment. This is the basis of Mike's and my relationship. But you two do bear special recognition, I think. You have been longtime contributors to the city. Your years of service, your knowledge, your judgment, your thoughtful approaches to policy and legislation and oversight. We will miss you terribly on the City Council, and thank you for everything you've done. You're great partners. One other special person to introduce, my wife Frances, here in the front. For those of you who don't know Frances, she's the person everybody thinks should be mayor. And I agree. This year, as you can see here in the Southside Library, we're trying something different with the state of the city. It continues our experimentation with new things, from things like the Mayor's Ball. We've scheduled it for July, after the FY 2020 budget has kicked in. And we've decided to do away with the pomp and circumstance and the formality of past speeches and instead substitute a friendlier community tone. This year, think of it less as a State of the City address and more as a report to you as the shareholders of a publicly held company, the City of Santa Fe. Now, there are obvious differences between government and business. And there are also some key fundamental similarities, including the need for steady, strong, stable, thoughtful management day to day, and decisive leadership for future directions and investments. So it isn't far-fetched to think of the city of Santa Fe as a publicly held entity, one where you are the owners, you are the shareholders, and you are also the customers, all rolled into one. Let's begin with purpose. Every great organization serves a great purpose. You are the purpose of our city. We work for you. We serve you, we listen to you, we invest on your behalf, we solve the problems that you identify, and we seek to anticipate those problems before they even occur. And when I say you, I mean all of you. I mean all of us. All the people who make Santa Fe their home. In this time of rampant racism, bigotry, and intolerance spewing out of the White House, we stand by our principles and we stand with all the people of our community. Santa Fe is and always will be the city of faith, a city that values, respects, and protects all of our people. Thank you. That principle is the basis of our mission. We are here to make life better with more opportunities for every Santa Fean every day. In fact, last year our department heads came together to adopt a formal mission statement. It says, "We give our best to help the people of Santa Fe live their best every day." That's our purpose and our mission, and we strive to live it every day. The second managerial truth for any organization, public or private, is this: you are only as good as your people. Leadership is about people. Management is about people. People first must be and has been our guiding principle. It was identified in the McHardt Report, which called the city to account for its failure, first and foremost, to be well managed. Our people-first approach has been simple and pragmatic. It's the approach that Jim Collins writes about in his classic leadership book, Good to Great. Get the wrong people off the bus, get the right people on the bus, and get the right people in the right seats. Your city department heads represent the finest collection of talent ever assembled in leadership positions in Santa Fe's history. Some are long-term managers who have been doing outstanding work. Some came back to the city after working in other jobs in other jurisdictions. Some are boomerangers, Santa Feans who grew up here, left, and now have moved back to take leadership positions in a city they love. Some came from the private sector to transfer their management knowledge to city government. These people are outstanding leaders and managers. They deserve your support, your trust, and thanks for the work they do. Starting with our city manager, Eric Litzenberg, would you all please stand and be recognized? Please. Working with them is a strong and dedicated team of city employees. These are the men and women who pick up your trash and fill up your potholes. They issue your building permits and drive your buses. They make your ice skates fit at the GCCC, and they monitor your water quality at the BDD. They check out your books at the library, and they check in on you when you're homebound. They deliver meals to our seniors, and they deliver programs to our youth, and they keep us safe. They need and deserve your support, your trust, and your thanks. They also deserve, and in this year's budget, they have received long overdue pay raises. For our Santa Fe Police Department, a 30% increase for our newest officers and a 15% increase on average for the entire department. An increase, that's okay, you can clap, because they need it. An increase for our fire department, and for every city employee, an across-the-board pay increase plus for those who had been earning less than market rate salaries, a raise based on a classification and compensation study, the third done in more than a decade, and the first where the recommendations have been fully implemented. Promise made, promise kept, people first. If the first task of city government under new management is to get our own house in order, the second is to establish trust and confidence with the residents of Santa Fe, bringing the city together. There's only one way to do that. Do what you say you're going to do. Keep your promises. Admit your mistakes and learn from your mistakes. Do your best every day and then try to do better the next day. Work hard, tell the truth. And remember that small things send big signals, because what may appear small in the grand scheme of a city means everything in the life of one individual. One example from the first few months in my time in office tells the story. ATVs in Swan Park, not far from here. It started with emails from Jerry Joyce and folks in the Tierra Contenta neighborhood. ATVs were tearing up the park and disturbing the peace and quiet of the neighborhood. They'd complained in the past, for years, in fact. Nothing had been done. Would this time be any different? The police went out and chased away the ATVers, and we got a thank you email from Jerry. But then they came back, and this time we got an angry email from Jerry. Nothing changes. Your administration is just like all the others. We should never have trusted you. And then something remarkable happened. We showed we were serious, and we showed we meant business. We pulled together a team from the city, the District 3 councilors, police, parks and recreation, public works. The neighbors came together as their own team to meet with the city team. Out of the meetings came a plan. Out of the plan came progress towards solving the problem. Not perfect, not instantaneous, but real progress. Out of the progress came trust and an even larger agenda of collaboration. Regular meetings, more progress, more trust. Like a flywheel that starts turning slowly at first, the momentum builds as we do what we say, as we add to the ways in which we unify our city. With Southside Summer, with the city council meetings in every district, starting in this library, with funding to build the Southside Teen Center with equity and inclusivity for everyone. Across Santa Fe, we have examples of improved service. That was the whole point of creating the Office of Constituent and Council Services, to make the city, your city, easier to work with, to make Santa Fe the most user-friendly city in the country, to respond to your calls for help with courtesy, respect, and answers. We may not get every call perfect, and sometimes cases still slip between the cracks. And yes, we know we need to do a better job with weeds. Sometimes, yay, weeds. And we know we need to do a better job with weeds. Sometimes we explore a problem and we have to give people answers they don't want to hear. But please know that we are genuinely sorry when we don't give you exceptional service, and we're working every day to earn your trust. Very simply, for our city to work for everyone, trust is a must. A city runs on trust, or it doesn't run at all. The next thing we did in our first year was to add leadership to management. We set 3 overarching goals to make Santa Fe the most user-friendly city in the country. You've heard about that. To make Santa Fe the most eco-friendly city in the country. And to make Santa Fe the most family-friendly city in the country. To those goals, we added our shared values: integrity, equity, inclusivity, respect, and empathy. And a commitment: we will manage with our heads and we will lead with our hearts. We're pragmatic and innovative, informed by our data and guided by our values, rooted in our history and reaching for our future. Some of the results of our first year are reported in the handout that you're holding. And to be absolutely clear about this document, this is not the achievement of an administration or even of a city council or even of a team of directors. These are the achievements of a community working together to make Santa Fe work for everyone. This documents the progress that we've made across the city in pursuit of our goals, guided by our shared values. Together, they represent a wide spectrum of achievements, making Santa Fe work better, work smarter, work fairer, and work together. For this year and beyond, our aspirations are articulated in the fiscal year 2020 budget, which kicked in on July 1. Here's some of what we aim to achieve. Standing strong with our immigrant community and living our values as an inclusive sanctuary city, especially in the face of human rights violations, bigotry, racism, and intolerance coming out of Washington. Working collaboratively with the state, the county, and the school district to generate shared solutions for the issues of education, behavioral health, opioid addiction, and adverse childhood experiences, the social challenges that define the well-being of our community. Implementing the city's sustainability plan with the Santa Fe Green New Deal, putting us at the forefront of the fight against climate change and planetary suicide. Making the arts, history, culture, and creativity an integral part of city government, our unique brand and our unique identity. Implementing the Built for Zero program, a solution for homelessness that drives our chronic and veteran homelessness rate to zero. Advancing the city's sparkling record in water conservation to the next level of preparedness through water reuse, giving water security to those who come after us. Strengthening our responses to issues of neighborhood quality of life, making all of our neighborhoods safer, quieter, cleaner, and more livable. Completing the implementation of our ERP system, bringing 21st century software and management tools into the way the city does business. And of course, you've heard me say it before, housing, housing, housing. More options for more people in all parts of our city, adding the housing we need to support our growing and diversifying economy, to give our young people the housing they need in order to live, work, and start families here in Santa Fe, and supporting our neighborhoods with the next generation of Santa Feans who will cherish this place as we do. Now, if there is one project that stands for this moment in our city, it is the Midtown Campus. Very simply, the Midtown Campus is the centerpiece of Santa Fe and our city's future. On that campus, we both remember our past and construct our future. We express our highest aspirations and we realize our concrete needs. It sits at the center of Santa Fe, a symbol of our unified city. And it gives us a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to build housing, provide higher education, and expand our digital economy, and do all of that in a way that is sustainable, equitable, and inclusive, in a Santa Fe way. Now that's a lot for one site. So more simply, here's my charge for all of us as we think about the Midtown Campus. Aim high. Expect excellence. Refuse to compromise. Hold on to our values, understand our history, and demand the best. We need to remember this is our historic project in our iconic city. Show me another city in this country with our history and our culture, our magic and our genius, with a site sitting at its center, inviting partners to compete for the chance to work there. It doesn't exist. When it comes to urban development, we are the unicorn. No one else comes close. Not only that, but we know what we want. We know what we stand for. And we know what we won't stand for. We won't settle for second best. Not now, not ever. This is our time, our project, our city, our future, and we will do it on our terms for our people. So let's come back to where we started. What is the state of our city? What is the state of our shared public entity? What can I report to you as the shareholders of Santa Fe? While we have more work to do, more problems to fix, more solutions to try, more challenges to meet, more new ideas to test, the state of our city is good, very good, and getting better. We're taking on years of deferred maintenance, years of part-time management, years of siloed government, and we're making real, measurable, solid progress as we push against inertia and the status quo. You can feel the pace of change quickening. The flywheel is starting to turn a little faster with every success, every investment, every solution, every victory, small and large. Our finances are sound, and our improving capacity to manage our finances gives us new ways to leverage our strength to invest in our future. We're working to build trust every day. In the last year, we've undertaken 8 audits and self-assessments. We are unafraid of holding up a mirror to city government, and we're prepared to face whatever we may see. We are relentless in our willingness to practice self-assessment and fearless in our commitment to practice self-improvement. As mayor, I can say with clear-eyed optimism that we have the people, the policies, the programs, the partners, and the confident purpose to realize the unlimited opportunities that await us. Santa Fe's future is hiding in plain sight. It's ours and it's our children's if we work together to create it. We are blessed to live where we get to live, to do the work we get to do, and to serve the purpose we have sworn to perform. This moment, this opportunity belongs to all of us. It is our sacred trust and our collective responsibility. I'm confident that we will seize this moment and that we will do so with joy, with pride, with faith, and with our hearts full of love for each other and for our city. Thank you. Thank you. So now we have some cards that folks sent in and some emails and questions that we got through social media. I'm going to just go through them and try to give some quick and reasonably informed answers. We do have experts here, subject matter experts who can leap to correct me whenever I'm wrong, as well as members of our city council who actually have their fingers on pulses that I don't. So let me talk a little bit about police response time, question we got. So a few things about public safety in Santa Fe in general. Number one, we're already seeing the effect of the pay increases doing exactly what we wanted them to do. We're discovering that our own team was simply waiting for a signal that we really care about them and we believe they matter enough to pay them more. And we are seeing new people come and test to join our city police department. We're seeing a group of people now in the academy who we hope will join the city shortly when they finish that education. And there are people from other parts of the state who, with the opportunity to come to Santa Fe, are now looking to make lateral transfers into our police department because they know it's a great place to work, it's got great leadership, it has great training, tools, equipment, and the support of the community, which isn't true in all cities in the United States. On the subject of police response time specifically, I looked at the data for last month, and they break the data down into two pieces. One is how long it takes the call to go from the rec center to our police officers, how long it takes the officers to respond. Things are a little slow coming out of the rec center. And as you know, we've just seen the retirement of the head of the rec center, and that position is very important. Historically, we've also had a lot of turnover at the rec center and vacancies. That's a city-county shared facility. We're going to work on improving that part of police response time. Police response time, once our officers get the calls, has been very flat and very even. So we're not losing time once the call arrives. We have to speed up the rate at which the call gets sent to the officers in the field. And we are working to add police officers to our department. I think you'll see that in the months ahead. Thank you for the question, whoever sent that one in. Another popular subject is parking downtown. We hear about that a lot, and I understand why, because it is both something people want, which is to come downtown and use our city facilities, come to meetings, come to parties, come to the Lensic, come to the convention center, and at the same time, parking is and always has been an issue. A couple things that you need to know about. Number one is, while we haven't made it cheaper, we've made it easier. There is now an app you can download and get onto your smartphone. It gives you the opportunity to keep track of your time so you won't get a ticket. It also gives you the opportunity to add time from your smartphone, and it will only improve over time the more people use it. The other thing that you may have seen that just happened recently was a terrific deal that Regina worked out for us in concert with other folks, our city manager, and the state, thank you very much, to make available the state parking facility on weekends. So if you're looking to come Saturday market, you're looking to an event at the rail yard, you're looking to come downtown, the parking lot of the state is now available, and good job, thank you. So stay tuned for that. Here's a subject that I think deserves a little time and unpacking, and it has to do with homeless people and panhandlers. And this is something that has been on my personal radar screen since I became mayor, because I really think these are populations we need to be very sensitive to and aware of, but they're not the same people. Panhandlers are often not homeless. And in fact, thanks to the generosity of the people of Santa Fe, they can make $300-400 a day. One of my favorite city council members attended a meeting where one of her constituents said, "I'm very upset about somebody breaking into my car. They took all the $5 bills I give to the panhandlers." Right, Carol? And that's generous, but it's misplaced generosity. Because what we really want to do is encourage LifeLink and the city and the panhandlers to find a different solution, which is to employ those folks to do some of the weed cutting that needs to be done, maintenance in our parks, maintenance at the Midtown Campus, and earn a day's salary for a day's work rather than having them get $5 bills from well-intentioned, well-meaning, and very generous Santa Feans. So my advice on panhandlers is kind of comes down to tough love. Let's go to the website of LifeLink and make a contribution to them and let them have vans that then employ panhandlers so that they can earn a good day's salary doing something that adds to the city. It will help solve the problem. It is generous because you're giving to LifeLink instead of the panhandlers, and it improves the way the city looks and feels in two separate ways. Homelessness is a different population. Our homeless population is not the same as the panhandlers. And there I mentioned in my talk something about the Built for Zero program. If you're not familiar with it, I'll go it very briefly, but Kira Ochoa, who is our Community Services Director, is really spearheading this. There are about 70 plus cities around the United States that have signed up for the so-called Built for Zero program. The goal is to drive chronic and veteran homelessness to zero by starting with each individual homeless person. In other words, you don't solve a homeless problem, you solve an individual's need for housing. And you create what's called a by name list of each person who is in our community who is homeless. And you get to know them, and you know why they're homeless, and how long they've been homeless, and most important, what it might take to get them housing. And we do that by talking to them, respecting them, and not assuming there's a one-size-fits-all approach to ending homelessness. We have now, thanks to Kira and her team and the nonprofit folks with whom she's working, the list has grown of chronic and veteran homeless people in our city, which is actually a good thing. Because as the list grows, we get more accuracy. And as we get more accuracy, we get better data. And as we get the data on each individual, we can craft a solution for each individual. That's really something that I am committed to. We're working on it. There are now a dozen or so communities around the United States that have actually achieved zero homelessness for their chronic and veteran population. So it is doable. There are role models that we can learn from, and we will be working with the national organization and our local nonprofits and service providers to drive our homeless rate to zero by following that methodology. It's proven to work. The city's large yellow public notice signs are often faded, unreadable, and even falling over. Who do we call? Good question, and this is the kind of thing that when I say we want to improve the overall look, feel, livability, quality of life in our neighborhoods, this is an example, a small problem that is important to this person. Here's a little background. Those signs are the responsibility of the property owner. It's their job to post them and preserve them. That said, as we implement our ERP, our technology software system, into our land use department, cue Carol Johnson, Carol will have the ability to use the software to help generate those signs and replenish those signs when it's needed. So we are beginning to build through what's called the EnerGov software platform the capacity to take care of concerns like this in real time, thanks to the ERP system and to where is our stunning IT leader. Joshua is making it all happen. Good job. The person you call to answer the question is Carol. Would you consider a 5-cent per gallon gas tax limited to 2 to 5 years to fund improvements and repairs to sidewalks and roads? This is a great question. We have filled, as the document you're holding says, about 1,000 potholes in the last year. And we know that doesn't even begin to fill the surface. See what I just did there? Fill the surface versus scratch the surface. It's very good. Thank you very much. We'll be here all week. Don't forget to tip your waiter. 1,000 potholes is cosmetic. It's not basic. Now, some of the problems in our city are the state's problem. And with the new governor, we're getting real help. We're finally getting agreement and collaboration and terrific support with NMDOT and with the legislature, giving us resources to take care of our streets and the state's streets, and tell the governor thank you. We love her dearly. But we do need to consider revenue to take on streets, roads, sidewalks, a facelift for the city. And right now we are using a gas tax bond. There's still some money left in that kitty, but it runs out in a year. So we will be examining options for ways to take care of this citywide facelift that speaks to streets, roads, bridges, sidewalks, street lights, parks, medians. This is the basics of our city infrastructure, and without, whether it's a 5-cent or other gas tax, without help from the state and our own resources, we simply will be playing catch up for the foreseeable future. We want Santa Fe to look great in all parts of the city. Who controls HOAs? And why not keep doing the speed traps? The neighborhoods and the communities where there are HOAs control their own HOAs. Speed traps is a great question. So here's what we learned, and the data, again, are in your handout about how many tickets and traffic stops and tickets were issued. Citations people got. Thank you. We are not done with traffic safety. We know from some of the tragedies we've seen on our roads and streets that Santa Fe can be a very dangerous place to drive. We know there are places where speeding goes on, and we know there are issues with noise and people talking on their phones. And we want to enforce our laws. We are currently, as the chief will tell you, doing the 100 Days of Summer to make sure that while people are out having a great time in the summer, they are still observing our traffic laws. But that only lasts the summer. In the fall, having done a spring blitz, we're going to do a back-to-school blitz. Again, putting out traffic enforcement with our officers and with technology in school zones and other areas to make sure that we are keeping people safe, making sure that our other drivers are respected, and that people observe the law. The goal is not to give out tickets. The goal is to have everybody be safe. And that's what enforcement is all about. Maybe just one more, or you have another. Oh my goodness. Can you tell us a little more about the exciting Cities for Citizenship project? Yes. This is a project we're doing in collaboration with our friends from Somos and from other nonprofit and immigrant rights groups in our city. Currently, I think we have 102 people enrolled in the program. I'm getting this just in, 105 people. These are people who are eligible to become citizens, but for whom the process has either been too expensive or a little too scary or just unimaginable. And so working with Somos and other groups, the 105 Santa Feans are on the path to citizenship. And that's great news. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. These are great questions. We're going to run out of time and it's hot in here. Let me do one on housing and then I'm happy to stick around. And I really do appreciate everybody staying and coming out to the Southside Library. It's really terrific of you to come out and turn this into a community event, not a mayor's event. This is your city. Does housing, thank you. You just came to see how I could speak. You told me already. You had a high degree of doubt that I could actually put a sentence together. So hopefully I'm doing all right. Does housing include density in areas that no longer have that capacity by way of amenities? Another great question, and it gives me an opportunity to talk about something that I'm very, very committed to, and that is to make the distinction between housing for its own sake and housing that adds to livable neighborhoods. We don't want to simply have housing drop out of the sky and plop down in parts of the city. Housing works of all kinds, whether it's rental or home ownership or multi-use. Housing works when it's integrated and knitted into the community that it's a part of. Now, I know that Councilor Abeyta and I have had a great time looking at maps of where affordable housing is in Santa Fe, and there's a slight misconception that all affordable housing is located in the same district in Santa Fe, when in fact it's pretty well spread out. But that's important, that no community, no part of our city bears an unfair burden as we attempt to address new housing, more housing, infill housing, housing options across the board. And that's why our housing agenda has so many different components. There's no one-size-fits-all answer for housing. There is a crackdown on short-term rentals to make sure that our neighborhoods are safe. There is the accessory dwelling unit ordinance to allow people to rent both parts of a home and a new or existing casita. There is the land that the city owns, which is about 6-7 different plots all over Santa Fe, not concentrated in one neighborhood, where we're going to put out RFP for all of those simultaneously. They're all different. They're all different density. They're all different types of development. It's a chance to have a multiple option response to our housing needs. There's housing at Tierra Contenta Phase 3, which will be neighborhood-based. There's a new design process underway with the Tierra Contenta Corporation, looking to make it even more integrated into the fabric of the neighborhood with amenities and user resources available. There's the Midtown Campus, which absolutely includes housing that is a variety of options. So we're looking at housing not as a thing, but as a way of living, a way of building Santa Fe, a way of creating the communities where people will want to live, put down roots, have families. I'm going to stop because you guys are really great and I don't want to wear it out. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for all you do for Santa Fe. I really appreciate your contributions, your presence, your partnership, and frankly, you are the city. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks to you guys.